Alright, so what we're going to be doing today is we have the oldest Isuzu. Basically it's a Trooper. I think it's actually called a Highlander. Here in the Philippines it's called a Highlander. The Philippine production of Isuzu. I'm not entirely sure. I know that it's been broken down in a shed for quite some time. More than a year, hasn't run. Could have clutch problems, could have a bad engine, we don't know. Electrical system's completely dead. And so what we're going to try to do today is a revival. We're going to see if we can fire it up, try to diagnose if there's a clutch problem or what's going on with it. So that's what we'll be doing today. Isuzu Hilander Philippines. See if we can revive that dude. Alright, so this is where the Isuzu is stored down the end of this little driveway. This is our Aunt Kathy's and Joel's? Yeah, Aunt Kathy and Joel's place out here. So alright, here we come in. We actually have a nice little garage built for us in here. Mine Amy built. It's over there in the other side of this little shed, the silver Isuzu. It's been here for at least a year, 2 years, something like that. So it's been a while. There it is, the Highlander. See if we can revive this rig. Alright, so here we are at the Isuzu. It's been parked here, you see it's covered with dirt and dust. We don't know what kind of critters are in it. We can take a quick walk around. See, I know that they left the keys for us here, which is nice. And I have the tools in the back. I'll show you that here. You can see the handle here. But we have ways of making it talk. It has a little button you can push in there, but look what I have here. We purchased the battery yesterday at the store. We got tools. These we sent the Balik Bion box from the US, and we bought this. Kind of a dicey thing. Look at that, $329. No, that's paid, so it's about $2. So, anyways, we have this. We're gonna try to put the battery in it. We're gonna see what it is, but we'll take a quick look around. Alright, so let's pop open the door and take a look inside. Come around, you can take a good look inside of what we got here. Oh Lord. It smells like my hamper when I was a teenager. There we go. Okay. Here, well, come on in. Here we got, how many kilometers is that? 383,000 kilometers. What is that in miles? It's still a lot.
We've got Chasey over here, and here's Uncle Joel. They're gonna be Jake's helper.
All right, yeah, so we're gonna take a first look in here, see what it looks like. There it is. I believe that's a 3-liter, 4-cylinder diesel engine. And, well, that's handy. I think we can get through it. Okay, so yesterday, I pulled out the battery, so it did open up. I didn't see any large snakes or other deadly creatures in here, but we got to watch out. But, one of the things that we want to take a look at over here, we have, that's the clutch, the hydraulic clutch over here. There's some issues with that. Currently it's full. However, as far as clues are concerned, I did find a bottle of clutch fluid in the back, so it tells me it's probably been leaking and been refilled, or something's been replaced. We don't know. Brake fluid's filled. This still has fluid in it. There's really old, nasty oil in the thing, so it's probably due for a change, although it's fairly, well, I say high miles, but for a diesel it's not too bad, so we're hoping that it's okay. So overall, there it is. So the next step is we'll throw a battery in it, hit the go button, see what happens. Alright, so we're going to go back, snag on the battery, we'll grab some wrenches. I think that's 10 millimeter, and put it on and see what happens. So, battery. I need a rugged assistant. Here you go. Take that up, and we will lock this, and we need a 10 millimeter still here, and I grab a couple extra. You never know head on up. So, these are the battery hold downs, and we'll put that in. Yes, just like that. Straight in. Ready. Boy, that's sitting on the cables. Run. Down, down. Kind of sort of. All right. What happens here? And I specifically chose this battery because it was the only one available. So very carefully discerning. See what happens if we get any juice inside. Mosquitoes out here. So all shades on the putting these on until after we work on. Remind myself that I put that there. And let's go see what happens. Okay, now we get some fan action here. I got dashboard lights, that's a good sign. There's a little bit of fuel in it. Here it goes. Oops. Not good. Could have a starter issue. Alright, so what we're going to try is to see what we've got for voltages on our battery. DC. I've got it set on 20 volts because we should have 12. We'll see if we're anywhere near that. It's a little low, but not terribly. It should be over 12 even there, which tells me that the battery, even though it's a brand new battery, is probably not fully charged. So that could be an issue where we need to figure something out with that. So we'll think on it a second and figure out what we're going to do. All right, so I just cleaned up the contacts a little bit. I looked at the voltage on the battery. It's a little bit low even though it's a new battery. So we may end up having to do some sort of a recharge situation, which I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. If I can find another vehicle that has a good alternator charging system, I can do a battery swap. But we'll figure that out in a second. I'm going to try it now that I've cleaned up the contacts. Yep, there's just not enough juice in the battery. I got a little bit more out of it by cleaning up the contacts, but it needs just a little bit more juice. We need power. So, one of the issues that you have in the Philippines, and I saw with the meters and things you check, is that things aren't, when they're sold, it's not quite like in the US. Like this battery is mostly discharged, so we have to charge it. Now, these guys had a charger, which is basically saving my bacon because I was thinking that I would never be able to find one of these here. So, top marks to these guys for pulling up a charger, and we'll see if we can get it charged and try it again. So yeah, for the charging purposes, just a matter of putting the leads on the battery itself, and then we're just gonna set it for 12 volts, make sure it's set.
You're not plugged in, Jake.
Right, but I'm just setting before we plug in.
Okay.
So, yeah, if we can find a way to plug this dude in.
Meron ka mga extension cord.
Okay.
They're gonna grab the extension cord.
All right, so what we're doing is our new battery, which we have purchased, has very little juice in it. I measured it at 11.5, which means it's substantially discharged. The battery charger that we found doesn't work. So we gotta try to find, either gonna throw it in another car that has a working charging system, or maybe one of the neighbors, where I think we have one of the neighbors might have a battery charger. So this is how it happens. This is Philippines, so nothing goes easy. So we're gonna keep going. We'll get it. All right, the simple stuff video, things that are broken. We have a handle here. The plastic handle mechanism, the latch itself actually works. You can make it work just fine. Just need a new plastic outside of that. This one over here, you'll look at this door, and let's see if I can do it. I don't know if you, the hinge, door hinge, and I think it's that's upper hinge on this side, which is why the door is sagging. Obviously the power window thing's a little dicey. Probably had power mirrors once upon in its life. Mainly minor little plastic things. This side, the passenger door we looked at, it has a saggy hinge, but this one is the bottom. So bottom hinge on the passenger side, upper hinge on the driver's side. There. Alright, so we're about to try it again. We've just put the battery into it, so we'll see what we can do. See if I can find a spot for this. Alright, so we got a battery back, we got it charged up. We are going to try it again. No guarantees, but here we go. Take the handle. Start it up pretty quickly. Take a look. That sounds good. Alright, so we got it all started up, and now we'll see what we got going on under here as far as I don't see any big drips yet, so let's see what happens. Alright, we're going to try to see if we can get it into here. Brakes are really slack, but it seems to work. Alright.
looks like it has empty.
Yeah, it's just below it. We also have very low brake pedal. And we probably need blade brakes or something. So are you driving that way? Yeah, maybe just up like a whatever, just a very short trip up the road. So. Well, that's why I don't know if it's the gauge is working or what, so I'm not going very far.
I think you should just park it or turn around now. I'm being very skeptical about this thing. See you, Uncle Dorian.
Been giving this rig the once over, and one of the things that I have discovered here is probably won't be able to see it very well. Basically, I can rock this pinion, the pinion bearing. There's a bearing in here, right here. And there should be a nut under this flange which sets the preload on this, and it could be that the nut has gone loose or we have really worn bearings in here, so we could have a differential problem because I shouldn't have that movement. I don't know if you can see it on video, but I can certainly feel it. So yep, that's a problem. Alright, so someone mentioned an oil leak, and there you go. I'm quite certain this is exactly what it is, and it looks like it's coming from this tube. So we gotta figure out where that tube goes, what it connects to. Well, there's an oil cooler or something, but that's not a rear main seal or anything. It's just a line there. So we gotta figure out where that is. It's right above the engine mount on the passenger side. That'll be the source of our oil leak. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so we're rocking the wheel here, and what we're getting is quite a bit of relative motion between the brake rotor and the backing plate. I can see it right from here, and that indicates bad wheel bearing. The passenger side looks the same. Okay, that's enough. All right, here we go. Yes, we have the door. See that? Door handle and everything. Nice, huh? Perfect. Okay, get the front wheel off the Isuzu, and somewhat unusual to have a caliper this loose. I mean, the brakes work and they bind and release like they're supposed to. I'm just not used to seeing quite this amount of slop in there, so I'll do some investigating. We'll see what's going on. The bearings actually don't feel as bad as I thought they did on the wheel on. We'll look at those two. Okay, front wheel bearing. Inner is L45449. 2000 Isuzu Highlander. Inner wheel bearing. Alright, so we got brand new taillights here. See? Brand new. To replace the other one, I got JC working. He's going to swap these out. There's old broken lenses and bulbs that don't work. It's all rusty, got flooded, so we'll see. We'll let him do this job. Both sides. Alright, so on a Isuzu 4-cylinder diesel, very reliable engine. Weak link is they have an oil line that runs up. There's a vacuum pump on the alternator, and it's a hose. So the hose leaks. This part is very, very difficult to find. We spent about 8 hours yesterday, went to, I don't know, 7 or 8 different part stores, and finally down in Jensen, we found one up in the attic of a part store. So it's quite an adventure getting the parts. Requires a copper O-rings, which I got previously, but finding this part is extremely difficult, and it's kind of a weak link. So it happens, best of engines. So we're gonna swap it out, and that should allow us to operate hopefully without engine oil leaks. Hold on. Alright, so we have restarted after our repair. The oil line, let's see if I can. Alright, so one of the problems with the wheel cylinder is that upon contracting it wouldn't contract, and you can see why. That cylinder, that rust band is stopping that piston from going back in. So we have to de-rust this without making it too rough. Normally you say, oh yeah, we just use some very fine emery. Not available. So we have to try to come up with a way to get that off without damaging the seal surface, which is the fine metal. So I've got some sandpaper to start, but I'll have to finish with something else, maybe a green scrubber or something. So it'll be a challenge, but this is what the Philippines is all about, trying to make this work. Cannot get rebuilt calipers, cannot get calipers, period. So this is a field fix, trying to make one of these things. Alright, so what I'm doing is trying to rebuild this old brake caliper. It was rusty, and it's still rusty, but I got the high spots off. Now, because before the cylinder wouldn't go in any further than that because of the rust, and now we can get it to go all the way through. Problem is, this is supposed to be a sealing surface. It ain't pretty. And of course the rubber seals, this thing was ancient, and the bore in there doesn't look too terrible, but where the seal ring goes, this seal ring is pretty ugly. So is this gonna work? I don't know. Do we have a choice? No. Cannot get rebuilt calipers here. So Anna has gone to town about an hour away. They said they had a seal kit. When she gets back, we'll throw it in. Pray. There's a lot of prayer involved with repair work in the Philippines, so I can see why it's such a religious country. No spares. Gotta pray that it works. So we got it running, everything's been going. We went to Norella, gave it a bath, so it's all cleaned up, see? It's not quite as muddy. So we have resurrected the Isuzu Highlander successfully.